Have you ever been through something that was really difficult? Have you ever been faced with an experience that felt insurmountable? It can be so hard to have faith and joy in difficult situations. But choosing faith and joy is always worth it, no matter what else is going on around us. James, the half-brother of Jesus, wrote some really powerful words to first century Jews who had placed their faith in the resurrection. In James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, we read these words. It says, "My dear family, when you find yourselves tumbling into various trials and tribulations, learn to look at it with complete joy. Because you know that when your faith is put to the test, what comes out is patience. What's more, you must let patience have its complete effect, so that you may be complete and whole, not falling short in anything." I love that passage. I want to read verse 4 again, just one more time. "What's more, you must let patience have its complete effect, so that you may be complete and whole, not falling short in anything." If you want to be complete, if you want to be made whole, then we have to learn how to be patient and how to persevere. And James is suggesting that patience is the result of experiencing hardship, that coming through trials and tribulation leads to patience and perseverance. And trials, they're something that we're going to have to go through if we ever want to be whole. Can you imagine how different your life would be if every time you went through something difficult, you learned how to view it with joy? Imagine what life would be like if instead of getting frustrated and anxious during difficult circumstances, we recognized that when we actively seek Jesus during our trials, we become more like him. Imagine what life would look like. In verse 12 of chapter 1, it says, "God's blessing on the man who endures testing. When he has passed the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him." Our whole life is the test. Every single moment that we spend living and breathing is an opportunity to strive towards the crown of life. It's easy to recognize a need for faith when things are really hard. In our suffering and our pain, it's usually pretty obvious that we have an opportunity to put our trust in Jesus. But it can be really hard to treat every single day as an opportunity to exercise and grow our faith. It's really hard to put in the day in and day out practice of becoming more like Jesus. In verses 22 and 25, it says, "But be people who do the word, not merely people who hear it and deceive themselves." I love that. Someone who hears the word but doesn't do it is like a man who looks in the mirror. He notices himself, but then he goes away and quickly forgets what he looked like. But the person who looks into the perfect law of freedom, the perfect law of freedom is Jesus and the hope that we have in him. But the person who looks into the perfect law of freedom and goes on with it, not being a hearer who forgets, but a doer who does the deed, that kind of person is blessed in their doing. At some point, you have to choose to move from belief into action. Belief comes first. It's so important to put our trust in Jesus and our faith in his power and his resurrection so that we can be saved. But at some point, we have to go from believing that to living like it's true. When we aren't acting on our faith every single day, it's so easy for it to sink into the background of our minds and become an afterthought. Something that we're going to realize as we go through the book of James together this week is that true faith is brought to life when we act on it, not just think about it. True faith is brought to life when we act on it, even in difficult circumstances, even through trials. And if you've been alive for more than 10 minutes, I think you've probably realized that life has a lot of trials. It's not always easy. It seems like everywhere we turn, things kind of go not how we planned them to. But ultimately, our entire life is our opportunity to prepare for eternity. Every single day is an opportunity to experience the kingdom of God on earth. How different would your life be if you decided to choose faith every single day?